the market debut, and here we are talking about iFinance. It's the debut is quite muted, but then what are the future plans? Let's talk to the management. We are joined by Mr. Sanjay Sharma, Managing Director, iFinance Limited. Sanjay, hi, morning, and welcome to the show. Company is raising fresh capital to strengthen the balance sheet and support future asset growth. Just want to understand, how do you plan to deploy this capital, and over what time frame should investors expect to see its impact on growth as well as on returns?
It's a big day for iFinance. Listing is always a big day, and iFinance is a dominant player which provides loans to micro-scale businesses right across India in 18 states and 3 union territories. So we have a very expanded base of customers, almost 6 lakh customers, and this money that is being raised in the IPO primarily helps us in enlarging our net worth, and that helps us grow our book, because in lending you have to maintain a typical credit adequacy level, and this money will go towards making us grow from the current 6,100 crore AUM to roughly double or 3 times this number. So I think that's where the money will get deployed, and this will allow us considerable growth in the coming time.
Right. Mr. Sharma, the unsecured book still forms a sizable portion of the AUM. How do you balance growth in this segment with risk management?
I think that's a good question to ponder. First of all, this lending is all to businesses for business purposes. The loan sizes are typically 1 lakh to 2 lakhs, and these go towards the various small manufacturing units or trading units or service units. So first thing is that when we look at the product mix, while 20% of the lending happens against a property or a mortgage, the balance 80% happens through hypothecation of machinery, working assets, and the finished goods of the businesses. So it's not completely unsecured in that respect. Within this hypothecation, about 37% of our portfolio is where the hypothecation value of those assets is lower than our loan amount, and those we also called unsecured, but this is not a consumption unsecured. So I think their behavior is therefore like a business loan, and we found that volatility is very low. The customers have a high intent to pay, whether it is against property or against their business assets. And we will continue to manage it that way, because we have a dominant play in this segment. We handle even the hypothecation part, which is unsecured, well in this market, and we've demonstrated that even during difficult times like demonetization or during the COVID pandemic, or even more recently the overlending, we have not seen a huge volatility in our credit costs or in our NPAs.
Right, Mr. Sharma, collection efficiency has softened a bit. Is this cyclical, or does it reflect stress in specific borrower segments?
Yeah, I think the good news is that the collection efficiencies, if we look at the last 6 or 7 months, has been becoming better and better. And today our collection efficiency, in whichever bucket you look at, has reached the same levels that we see in good times. So I think when we look at our portfolio, the segment of customers which we lend to in the last 2 years is a segment that is not affected by the overlending problem, and is behaving exactly like a good customer segment would behave. So I think collection efficiencies, happily so, have become similar to good times, and I think that is what is a forward-looking metric, which in the times to come will demonstrate that we will quickly get the credit cost into a manageable range.
Mr. Sharma, what about the competitive intensity in the MSME lending? Do you expect yields to remain at current levels? So what is the outlook?
I think the competitive intensity in the unorganized micro-scale businesses is very minimal. As I told you, that there's a huge unmet demand even today. I think this is not a segment that is getting crowded by many players, and so we will continue to see good traction. And I think our net interest margin on hypothecation loans have remained robust. Mortgage has a lower net interest margin, which will gradually increase in mix. But then mortgage also has a longer tenor and therefore a larger income generating period. So overall, the effect on the ROA, which is the end result, I don't think will be negative. If anything, with cost efficiencies coming in and with the credit costs being managed well, the ROAs will remain robust. We delivered 4.9% in FY24, and in FY25 we delivered 3.5% ROA, and I think we'll keep in that range.
Sure. Beyond your current offerings, are you evaluating entry into any new segments to diversify growth?
See, I think while we'll continue with the existing target market of micro-scale MSMEs, but these businesses also have multiple needs. So some of them have gold loan related needs, some of them have vehicle related needs. These are all available to us to capture in the coming years. Right now, we are very happy with our mortgage and the hypothecation loan products, but I think as time goes, these are segments that are open to us to benefit from.
Right. Mr. Sharma, also looking ahead to FY27 and beyond, what are the key milestones for the company?
Yeah, well, we can't share any forward-looking specific numbers, but I think clearly growth is one parameter. As I told you that in the 3 years before, we had a CAGR of 43%. And even this year, when we look at September to September, we have disbursed about 27% more loans in amounts compared to last, as we were in September last. So the growth is one parameter that we will like to stay in this range, and with a big target market and very little competitive intensity, that should not be a big challenge for iFinance. The second area that we will focus on is to bring profitability. We have delivered 3.5% to 4.5 or 4.9% in the last 2 years, and our effort would be to keep it on the higher side of the range. The third would be to keep the credit cost in check, and while the credit cost is at about has remained in the 3.5 to 4.5% range, but we don't want it to be volatile. I think it's important to understand on a 2-year tenured product, you will see a nominal credit cost of 3.5 to 4%, but the fluctuation around that should be managed, and that's something that we will work towards. It's a company that takes pride in its high level of compliance, and I think that is also reflected in the quality of investors that we have in private equity. Elevation Capital, Google Capital, Temasek Trust, and BII, some of the names. Also in the new listing, we have some of the top anchors that have invested because they've seen value in a quality professional company which is addressing a segment that is still unexplored and has so much ground to give.
All right, fine noted. Thank you so much, Mr. Sharma, for taking time out and connecting with ET Now today. Thank you. And let's move on.